good morning. Beautiful wet day today. The first cold front of the season has just pushed in. We're getting some good rain again. Not that we can take that for granted. And so I thought what would be quite interesting is to talk about water, because unfortunately in modern life we're so used to just switching on a tap and water appears that we tend to take this sort of thing for granted. Now in the area, of course, we're a very dry area, 600 millimeters on average a year of rainfall. So it's not something we should take for granted. It's actually a blessing if you switch on your tap and water comes out. And we learned that a couple of years ago when we went through that dry spell. Everybody knows that if you put a cold beer or cool drink bottle out on your sort of table, you get condensation dribbling down the sides. That is the gaseous form of water that is basically condensing onto the glass. Water will only condense around a solid object. So in the atmosphere we have dust particles, smoke particles, that sort of thing, and that is where the water condenses around. So each raindrop has got a little impurity in it. As that basically develops, that little raindrop develops, if it freezes as that is happening, we get snow. If it freezes as a solid chunk of ice, we get hail. Not that we get that much hail in the Western Cape. Snow we do get. So each raindrop is formed around this little condensation nucleus. The bigger the raindrop gets, the heavier it gets, until it falls. Now, basically a cloud is just a bunch of raindrops, but they're not big enough yet to fall. When you get clouds forming and the raindrops get heavier, they go darker, and that's because light can't penetrate it. That's why a rain cloud is grey or sometimes even black. Depends on how dense the droplets are up there. Comes down to earth as precipitation. Now, if a cloud happens to form at ground level, as we often see here on Val de Vie in the early mornings, we call it mist. We've had probably about 16 millimeters of rain last night and this morning, which means all the little tributaries are starting to run. All the stormwater drains are starting to run. Of course, they run to the lowest common point, which is the Berg River. And you'll see the river behind me is quite up, much higher than it was yesterday. So this is all coming off roads and off the slopes of the mountains. On Val de Vie, we also use the river water for irrigation. Now we try and limit that as much as possible. After all, we know the communities downstream also need the water. The Berg River Dam is an irrigation dam, and that is designed to slowly release water. Now at the moment the Berg River Dam is 60% full. We're in March. Last year at the end of winter it was 100% full, which means 40% of the water has been released. And that will go that will be true for other dams as well. So limiting your water use at home ensures that not that much leaves the dams that we use for human consumption. How do you do that? Well, there's a number of ways, of course, and a quick internet check will give you 1,001 ways. But the whole concept is just be aware and think about your water use. Try and limit it. Okay, so thank you for your time. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. Any comments, feel free to ask them.